Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Z2X. I'm here joined again by.
Hello, the mom.
And
Mom to the Z, Mrs. X.
and we're going to be talking about probably, I think, the one of the biggest shows in the
Oh,
last
yeah.
decade, which is Stranger Things. That just.
Yeah, spoiler
Yeah,
alerts.
spoiler alert,
Spoilers.
alert ahead if you haven't watched it. But
If you
the.
haven't watched it, listen to us anyway because you might
I.
want to think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll change your opinion on watching it. But the so Stranger Things season 5. People have been talking about it a lot, and
Well,
people.
for one, let's start off with how long it took them to get to season 5.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It was 3.5, like 3.5 years, like gap between season 4 and season 5. Like,
Oh my, I didn't realize it was that long.
yeah, yeah. Hold up. Like, when did Stranger Things season 4 come out? It was May 2022. May 2022. So you,
Wow.
you look
Yeah.
at that, and it's literally 3.5 years
Yep.
because it released, like, basically, like, finally finished up the like 3.5 years later, and
Uh-huh.
I feel like that is a really long time. First of all,
I think that's too long.
for any show like that, like I brought this up before. It's like older shows that like had
Uh-huh.
amazing quality. You have Supernatural, you've got Breaking Bad, you've got these sort of things. Not even like
Well,
sitcom types,
and
but
I think Supernatural is close to kind of like
yeah, because it used a
the
lot of special
genre.
effects
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
and those episodes, they were pumping out episodes like monthly, man. Less than like monthly, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
yeah, Supernatural. I watched that for a while, but it I don't know how many seasons it had. I feel like it had like freaking 20,
Yeah,
although I don't think it did.
yeah.
But they had a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, like I'm looking here. Like Supernatural would release like as one season per year with 20 to 23 episodes. That's like
Yeah.
that's literally like you're getting on average one episode every like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, and I wonder how long were their episodes? Because I know in Stranger Things, their episodes are pretty long, though, right?
Yeah, they're like movie length. However, I mean Supernatural is like 45 minutes
That's what
like
I thought. I couldn't remember.
long
It's been
per
a long
episode.
time.
Stranger Things are maybe like an hour, and then you have like finales which go like to an hour 30, 2 hours roughly, 2 hour 30.
Uh
Um,
huh.
but like, kind of just the point I'm making here is that, back in the day in television, it's that you would have these amazing things would come out, like amazing writing, amazing like visuals, like groundbreaking stuff, and they would release very like frequently. And then nowadays, I
Yeah.
feel like you have to wait like 3 years for something that's like okay, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
huge gaps between.
Like everybody was really into Stranger Things, and then it just kept longer and longer and longer for the next season. So it's Netflix's fault
Well,
or the
Netflix
writers
has it's both.
Stranger Things because it took so long for all these. They lost viewers, although it's the number one right now on
Yeah,
Netflix.
it's number one, but I mean,
But
still, like, you got to look at the cultural zeitgeist. Like, you have ever seen like the merch for like the Hellfire Club stuff? Like, that's
yeah,
all Stranger Things. It's like a Stranger Things thing,
well, they
and
lost. I think they lost a lot of their
but yeah, 20.
viewers. I mean, I
Yeah,
stopped.
well,
I watched kind of the first season, but I was like, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, that's just because you didn't like the kids being in danger. Like, that stressed you out too much.
I
First
know.
season was great, but the actual.
Everybody says the first season was their favorite.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think anything beats that. But
Yeah.
uh but overall this season, and I'll loop back around to that too. I think that there's some very solid parts of it, but overall, um, there's a ton of issues, and I don't think that it is a good finale as a whole. Like, overall, it is just it's disappointing in
What
a lot of ways.
you had to think about. You're like,
How do I
uh,
exactly, because I'm so conflicted and mixed on it, because to explain, so season 5, I think a lot of my issues is, one, despite this being a horror series, this cast is like the most bloated cast I have ever seen in my life.
And that started in season 3 or season 4?
I would say that started in season 3 and it became bad in season 4, and then
Uh-huh.
it got out of control in season 5. This is one of the I from what I know, this is one of the posters for the Stranger Things. Look how many characters are there, man.
Yeah, yeah. It
Not,
was way better when it wasn't so bloated, keeping the same characters in
yeah,
there.
yeah, and the thing is, even Stranger, like the season 3 started to get bloated. However, it didn't feel like it as much because it was like you split up the arcs into like 2 completely separate sections that they felt like kind of disconnected from each other. Where you're like, okay, this is like, you don't realize how bloated it is. However, in this season they have like, it's like everyone coming together, and you're having like a room of people, or like a scene of people, and it's like, dude, this is like 10 people here. This is like Marvel Avengers type, like everyone come here, like type stuff. There's just the cast is so bloated.
Yeah, and there hasn't been, truthfully, I think that so let's talk about the last season. And what was your highs and lows that you think?
Yeah, well, I think that, one, like the bloated cast, it sucks. There, no one really died either. It just gives false stakes, and there's too many people, and you don't focus on characters as deeply because you are split between so many different groups. That is my number one thing. Number 2, I think it was unnecessary to add new characters because they basically, the character with the most like screen time, or one of the most, is like Mike's sister and slash like Nancy's sister, Holly, and she was really young, and they cast a new actress for her and made her like really important. I felt like it was unnecessary because you're like, oh well, they didn't introduce a new character. I feel like they fundamentally did, because if you have a character that is a non-character, you don't know anything about them, and they barely show up, and then they become a very frontal focus point, you are effectively changing
the dynamics. You are.
Yeah, you're adding a new character, because that character before had like maybe 3 speaking lines, such a side character that they were just like fluff, and then you make them like all this importance. That is the same as adding a new character.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know how somebody could say it wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then you like put so much of the like focus on this, like this, you just don't have enough time to build up these things, when a final season should be tying everything, tying the dynamics, focusing on what's already there, these like strong foundations. I think, and then
so they were introducing all these new people towards the end that really took maybe away. They just prolonged it, is what you're saying. They just fluffed it. Isn't that the fluff?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the issue, it's not just prolonged, it's the fact that you only have so much time, right, to deal with certain things, and you're taking away that time from other characters that are already defined and could just use more like screen time.
And truthfully, in my opinion, to do that too, it takes away from the storyline, and people get bored quickly, and then you're like, you just took it off on this side story that nobody gives a shit about, or created this. I don't know why. I wonder why they did that. What is your opinion about that?
I think so it's because they are worried about actually killing off characters. They don't feel like, despite being a horror series, they don't feel safe killing off characters. The only characters they've killed off are like characters that were very obviously like setups to
they were the red shirts from the Star Trek.
Yeah, like Eddie from season 4, where you see him and you're like, okay, this guy's dying. You immediately know that this guy is dying. You could like their character, but it is
because they're introduced and then they're killed off, is what you're saying.
Yeah, even by the end of the season, you're like,
obviously, that's what I'm saying.
Obviously, like this guy is going to die. You're building up the character, but then you're not actually like hitting at the actual cast. You're like, you're not shaking things up. You're bringing in something new just to destroy it, to give a false sense of like stakes. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. And so what do you think then? What is your favorite episode in season 5, and what's your least favorite episode?
Let me pull up episodes season 5, Stranger Things, and then I do think that the chapter or season 5 episode 4 was pretty good. It was long. It was the one where like they're doing all these plans with because just a lot happens in it. They're like doing all these plans with like the Demogorgon, and then they and then like Will, it like shows like Will has powers, and I'm like, that was kind of a cool reveal. I think it made sense with how they were like amping up, because
they gave Will powers.
Well, because the whole thing about it, I mean, he already had sort of like powers in a way, but not like concrete. Because throughout the season, he was like the series, he was like first initially like the connection to the Upside Down, and then in season 2, it's like he had a psychic link to like the Mind Flayer, which then like let him kind of see and sense it, and it gave it control over him, and he kept that kind of sense, like you know, that sixth sense over it. So I think it makes sense, like his powers are basically, he doesn't like have psychic abilities, but he can effectively like create a psychic link and then like manipulate the bodies of like the creatures in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Which I think is logical. You know, you already have this psychic link to these things, so you can then manipulate them, because you're basically getting into their mind, just like how they got into his mind. So I think that made sense. But however, I don't think the ways however, I don't think the ways that they took it. So see, like the 4th episode, you know, halfway point of the season, I'm like, wow, this is interesting. There's a lot they can do with this. I don't think where they took it was very interesting.
Oh yeah,
I don't think so.
That's why I think it's probably the most talked about right there at the end, because people are like, "What did you do?"
Yeah, well, you have all these. That's the thing. You have all these interesting, really cool ideas, and then like concepts, and then you put them into a stew. It's like, you know, I love burgers. I love ice cream. You just threw them in a stew together, man. It doesn't work like that.
It does, yeah. It doesn't.
all these things sound good, but then you throw them together, and you're like, what? This isn't how I thought. You promised me ice cream and burgers, not ice cream burger stew.
Yeah. Ugh, that sounds gross. So, what was your least favorite then episode? Is there more than one in the season? I think there's more than one.
So. The second to last episode and the last episode, man, so I think the worst one, though, it has to be the second to last episode. The last episode sucks, but for different reasons. It sucks because it is a finale, but the second to last episode sucks on its own.
Yeah, that's what I've heard everybody say. It's a pretty contested, not liked.
Yeah, well, because the whole thing about it is, I gotta even check out what happened.
And it's for all different reasons too. Some people have their reasons because of the one character that comes out of the closet, and in the 80s, and how it was so scary. But truthfully, all of my friends and family were more like, yeah, whatever, in the 80s when we had friends and family that came out of the closet. But other people don't like it just because of the no real baseline. Yes,
because here's the thing. I think that the whole thing about it is that it feels like barely anything happens in this episode. The episode is an hour and 6 minutes long.
Are you serious?
Yeah, these episodes are long, and it's like, I feel like it's like a lot of stuff. I compared it because me and my friends play D&D, and this whole series has a lot of D&D inspiration. It reminds me of the stuff that when you're playing the game, you're like, man, we don't really, like, this is all fluff stuff that we don't need to be showing our characters doing because it's already assumed. So let's just skip past this. But then they didn't skip past it. Like, it just feels like a bunch of, like, so slowly paced, and, like, literally at the end of the episode, I felt like it was, like, I'm like, is this the episode? I felt like it was, like, 20 minutes of, like, an hour-long episode. Like, it was a third of the way through by the time it reached the end. And that was everyone's complaint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because...
And also, they feel like they just did weird stuff to make things happen. Like, it was forced.
Yeah, no, yeah, because the whole thing about it is that it is, like, this is the second to last episode. The second to last episode is almost as important as the finale, because you're setting up the finale. You are building the blocks to let the finale, like, you know, shine, really, right? Like, actually let it go. And then you're... Like in a second to last episode having nothing, like being a nothing burger, is like, man, you know, how are you going to do the finale then here? Like, you're gonna have to rush things, or things are gonna be weird, and that's what I feel like ends up kind of happening. Because,
and you said that to me too, you're like, I don't know how they're gonna do the last episode, it's gonna be really weird. You told me that.
When it really...
And so that's why I was really interested into hearing what you just what you decided on it.
Yeah, because the if you curse the release schedule was Volume 1 was November 26th, which was the first 4 episodes. Volume 2, which was like the next 3 episodes were
Uh-huh.
which was on Christmas Eve or no, Christmas, and then the final was New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
And so in the end of this episode, I mean, it is the most like forced coming out scene ever, which is kind of weird because I felt like in season 3, the character Robin, which is lesbian, she's lesbian. Actually, it's actually probably one of the best scenes I've seen of like anything like that because it feels really natural. And then in this one, they have the most forced schlock scene ever, and there's like, I gotta find a picture of it real quick because I feel like it goes back into the problem that I had of it just feeling like there's way too many people in this thing. It's like he doesn't even know how like all these people super well, and it's like he's like coming out and there's like 15 people in this room, man, and also these actors, like I don't feel like anyone was acting this season. I don't know, like
their acting wasn't very good.
Their acting was bad.
Blah. It was blah.
It was blah. I mean, Winona Ryder, of course, did great, but however, the issue is that they didn't give her a good script, so like you can tell she desperately wants to act, but like there's nothing there. Like there's nothing there.
See, she's one of the characters of the mom that I think fit the very beginning. She was awesome in it. You know, she was like what every mom would act like, you know, and be.
Yeah, she reminds me a lot of you, honestly. But like, I think I mentioned
that's what you said.
Yeah, but but yeah, like look how many people are in this room. Like half of these people, or like at least a quarter of them, they
are new characters.
Well, not new characters. Some of them are already there, but like about like one of the characters is a new character. About half of them he doesn't even know that well, or I'd say about roughly a quarter. He's not very familiar with. And it's just like, man, you got like this huge, it's so bloated, this cast. And they spent like 7 minutes on it, right? And on this, out of this episode, that's like more than like a sixth of the episode on this scene, the second to finale. It was so cringe. The dialogue was cringe. I watched it, I'm like, man, I feel like it like you really did not need this, despite Despite...
Do you think it was like the Game of Thrones? Like they just ended abruptly, just people were like,
I think in
seriously?
a lot of ways it reminds me of because a lot of complaints about the finale of Game of Thrones is that things just happen for the plot. Like in Game of Thrones, travel used to be like really important and, you know, dangerous and like, you know, moving, but then all of a sudden it feels like people are teleporting between places and things aren't as dangerous, or, you know, the plot's just like the things that
you were telling me, like they used to be scared or they would get hurt in the tunnels, right? Or
the upside down, like it was all like, because the whole thing, the fungus, like in season 1 they literally go there with the government and they have these huge like hazmat suits on. Like everyone that goes in there has hazmat suits on, and then his time being in there, it literally is like he looks weak and decrepit, and even the tunnels in season 2, like Steve and the other guys, like, and the kids look like they are, like, because of the spores and like the release of these spores, are literally like weakened so severely. And it's a higher concentration, but the whole idea of it is that, you know, it's poisonous. The atmosphere is poisonous in the area, and you'll slowly die. And then now they're just hanging out here. There's nothing going on here. Like literally, like in season 4, they go there through the lake, and there's like these demo bats, which are these like bat creatures, and they like nearly like kill 2 people, and then they kill like Eddie, which is the big guy from season 4. And then but you don't see him at all in season 5. I feel like the Demogorgons are not really there. And then they also have this huge reveal in this season, is that, which I don't really mind, but I think it's stupid just because of what it ended up leading to. But they're like, the upside down isn't the dimension where they come from. It is a wormhole. It is like a bridge, basically. And then they have a whole episode named, I mean, that's the second last episode, which is a bridge between 2 dimensions. Hold up, I'll try and see if I can find it, but But then that's like the big reveal or whatever, is that it's actually like a link between two dimensions and is not the dimension itself. And
Gotcha.
And that's why they find like these.
So that means that there's more and more. There's crazy all around, is what you're saying. They're trying to open the door that there's going to be more, but
well, that's the thing though, is that it feels like they're like, there's this other dimension, and that's, you know, where the mind flayer and all that stuff, and this is just the bridge, and it's like a time capsule of Hawkins or whatever, and that's why. And then you go to the other dimension, and it's the most boring stuff of all. It is literally a like desert. Hold up, I'll the Abyss, Stranger Things, because they name all this stuff after like D&D stuff, and the Abyss is like where all the Abyss in base D&D has a more interesting design than like, if you're curious, it literally looks like, probably this shot's the most interesting of it just because of the thing in the middle, but that's actually like the creature. But here I'll show. It's basically just a like big mesa desert.
This is from the Stranger Things on the left?
Well, they're both from Stranger Things.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And sorry for the low quality, but it's basically just a desert is effectively what it is, and it's yellow. And you look at how like classic looking the Upside Down was, this dark blues, this like,
it was really awesome and dark and bright red, burgundy.
Yeah, purples and the bright red lightning and stuff, and like it gave a really menacing vibe. And then you go here, and there's like, the whole thing, the original series, you're like, this is some eldritch monstrosity. This is some real, like, crazy stuff, undefinable. Like, I'm expecting to go here and seeing, like, the horrors. And I'm seeing a desert. And I am like, what is... Where is everything? And then in this other dimension, there isn't even any of, like, the Demogorgons or Demobats, even though this is where they're supposed to have come from.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
and they don't give you a story of why they're not there anymore or anything.
Well, yeah, the Duffer Brothers like made a clarification themselves, which I think is stupid. But
that's what I'm saying. Not in the show.
Yeah, not in the show. No, there's no reason why they aren't.
Who cares about where they're, if it's on the people who wrote it?
All I'm saying,
if it's in the show.
Yeah, no, you're right, because like literally I can be like, well, actually, this character had some crazy character development. Well, you didn't show it on the show, so it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the point? To me, that's just like, don't give me that crap.
Yeah,
give it to me now.
Yeah, let me see. But the and man, then it leads to the finale. I think the finale, like the actual, is, instead of having an interesting, like, an interesting thing, they basically just make it a kaiju fight, man. You know what kaijus are? You know, like like Godzilla's type stuff. Yeah, hold on, I'll send it. This is a scene right here. Like, I feel like the demo, like the Mind Flayer, which is this thing, they just made it just like this. Like,
I feel like this is a lot of Dune, that they brought in like Dune type aspects.
Yeah, I could see this being a Dune, because it feels sci-fi, but not sci-fi horror at all. And
yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
I also don't think Vecna's design, honestly, like it's cool, but I don't think it's scary by any means.
I know, but we have friends that they thought it was so scary.
Yeah, I'm like,
you're like,
I'm a big fan of horror, and I think there's way scarier horror monsters out there. But like, I like the actor. I did like the actor that played him, the Vecna. I don't know his real name, but it is.
The costume was good, but like you said, I don't think I'd be scared by it either.
The most impressive thing is that Vecna's like, the voice isn't like edited at all. The guy just like trained his voice to do that, like the super deep. But
that's cool.
But yeah, like, and then so I saw this thing, and I'm like, man, this feels like crazy, the exact length of it. So the scene of them actually fighting Vecna and the Mind Flayer is literally less time than they spent on the Will coming out scene. Like, the final confrontation.
34 seconds?
6 minutes and 51 seconds versus 6 minutes and 34 seconds.
Huh.
So like so literally the full confrontation.
Definitely should make sure we remember to put this up.
I'll put it up. Don't worry, because that's a really important one. But and then literally, so then, why I'm gonna look at why weren't the Demogorgons in the Abyss? Like, because they explain Yeah, it is the most stupid explanation. Uh, Mainly, it's just that Vecna was not expecting the sneak attack on his home turf. Never in a million years could he imagine that they're there somewhere. And
Okay, they just say this, but it's not a part of the.
well. I mean, like, because people were like, why aren't they in the, like, an interview was like, why aren't they all here? Don't they live here? That would be like, and I saw someone being like, that would, Sauron didn't expect for the Fellowship of the Ring to attack, so there was no orcs in Mordor.
Right.
Like,
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, why would you just say that? Wouldn't you put that in the show for some reason
yeah,
to make it more understandable?
maybe have it like the confrontation. I don't know. You could have an apocalyptic event where they're all in, the real world. Maybe they all spilled out, and every single one, that would at least make more logical sense, right? Like every single one of them is causing chaos.
So tell me, what do you so your opinions of it as a whole is not good.
Yeah, well,
correct.
I will say the good part. I will say the part that I am mixed on, because the whole thing is. Okay, I'll say one more bad thing. 11 goes missing or dies or whatever in the dumbest way, because I feel like the whole story with 11 is like she feels like she's a monster and doesn't belong in this world and all this stuff. And I feel like the end of that story is like, you can belong, and you like don't need to sacrifice yourself or anything like that, and there's a place in the world, because she's like this experiment, this government experiment. However, and everyone legit, like her sister was like, yeah, we should just stay on the other side when we destroy the Upside Down, so we die, and because they're just gonna try and like go after us and cause more problems. And everyone was like, yeah, her sister is like a traitor or something, because of like how stupid that like idea is, and how like self-sacrificial that is. But no, that's just genuinely what they do. She stays on the other side. And I was talking about it with one of my friends, and they're like, yeah, actually the message of the story is you should actually just kill yourself. Actually, when you shouldn't find an end to this story. You should just actually just give up.
Just unlive yourself, huh?
Yeah, just give up.
You should have said unlive yourself. You need to probably. We should probably take that out, because you're not supposed to talk like that.
Whatever. It only matters if you're like a certain amount through. Only TikTok has those rules now, by the way. If you're curious.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It is like seriously such a bad message, because this whole character is about like, like
overcoming diversity. She's making her way and
finding your place in the world. I think it's a big part of the story.
Yeah.
And then they have this. And I think there's plot holes in it of itself, because they don't explain it enough, because the whole...
See, that's what I think too, because everybody keeps saying like it jumps here, and that, and there's like tons of plot holes. Just from the outside perspective, I haven't even watched all of this, but I'm just like, it sounds like...
nonsensical.
It just sounds like they're just throwing shit out there without ever coming to a conclusion on one part to begin another, and then those conclusions don't even match.
Yeah, the message, because I think that most stories have a message or a theme. They call it a theme. Like a lot of stories I've seen, like, it's like no matter what you what happens, you keep fighting. You got to deal with death, or every story has its theme, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And
well, every story has a story.
Yeah, every story has a story. But I mean, like, usually some sort of like theme or drive.
You mean a moral kind of compass that the story is trying to lead you to, because that's usually what stories are.
Yeah, or at least like some sort of thing like that. A lot of stories do have that, and because they're grounded in that kind of reality, they have more of a like a tie to our world per se, more emotional weight. But and I will try and say this as simply as possible before I explain the context of the scene, is basically it's like, actually, maybe 11 didn't die, and her sister didn't die either, though she probably died on screen, but it's weird. And her sister turned her invisible, and she snuck past and just basically ran away, and she like to some like far off place where like no one will bother her again, like
that's weird.
And the way that, like, knowing the Duffer Brothers and how they've written this and how they set it up, and like how they visually used a lot of these cues, makes me think that that's what they want the real ending to be. However, I understand the meaning that they are going for, because the whole meaning is that the characters are like, they're like near the finale, they're like playing D&D, and it's like a metaphor for their game, like, you know, what happened to them, because they're doing a D&D game with Curse of Strahd, and it's basically the almost like the events of what happened, but like, you know, in
they're
D&D
playing a
form.
game, but the game is kind of reflective of real life.
Of what they went through. You know, like, oh, this evil, like Strahd or whatever in this D&D game is representing Vecna, and they are gonna lose, but then a random sorceress appears. They call her, but then her doing that, like, it's so like they get caught up. It's confusing for me to say, because they get caught up in the metaphor. They
gotcha. That sounds better. Yeah, of their own making, and
it gets of their own making, and it gets too convoluted. And
that's a good word. Yeah.
Because they're so focused on the D&D metaphor. But I understand the message, though, because what they're saying is that, you know, Mike doesn't know whether this happened for sure, whether Callie was able to save Elle. But the message is, you know, we can believe that everything went fine, and we can hope. And I know that's the message they're going for. And, you know, and even if it isn't true, it helps us move on from tragedy, you know, hoping that the best happens.
Yeah.
And I will say, the final 20 minutes of the season, the epilogue was great. I think the epilogue was well acted. I thought it was a great conclusion. But the issue is that I don't think anything before it was earned. I don't think if everything. Also, yeah, watch this scene, by the way. This is also an issue that I have with like a lot of the stakes of the series. But the epilogue was great. I just think it did not match the tone of what came before it. And you're like, if it was an amazing series, I just watched Kino over here, a 10 out of 10 piece of film. I think that the epilogue would have been phenomenal, because they go through like what happens after, you know, them moving on, what they're like, these characters are going to do next. And that ending I told you, like, where they're playing D&D and they kind of go through that, and then they go upstairs to like eat, and then Mike's sister and then some of the other kids that were during like the events of this stuff, like Derek the fat kid and some of these other guys, like, rush downstairs, and they're like almost like arguing a bit, and they're gonna start playing D&D. That's the whole thing. They're like, oh, this third, and then Mike looks down and he smiles and then closes the door, and then it like ends, basically signifying, you know, like a new adventure is gonna start with these kids, you know, a better one, a happier one, and,
gotcha.
And a new generation of people. And I think that it would be phenomenal, I think, if it was just better before.
Yeah, you were just saying those other episodes just kind of ruined it.
Yeah, you're like, it's like they had an amazing epilogue, and then they were like, how do we
wrote backwards?
It's like they
wrote backwards.
They wrote backwards.
Yeah, and some people do that, though. They have the ending, and then they have to, and that's why I call it the fluffers, because they're like, okay, we have this, but okay, now we have 3 episodes we have to fill in, so let's just do this.
You're right. It's like they know what their ending is going to be, but they don't know how they're gonna get there. And then and
that's what it sounds like to me.
And it is completely like people.
And I hear that from a lot of people are saying that it was awkward. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it was.
The whole season was awkward.
Do you know how much money they spent on this season? Just take a guess.
The last season?
Yeah, the last season.
Oh, I would say probably like I don't know, 200 million?
$400 million.
I almost said 400. That's so funny. That was the first thought that came to my mind. There's no way they would do the 400
and then you look at these are real scenes from The Abyss, by the way, like when they're fighting.
Yeah.
Look at how awful that looks right there. These are like so obviously green screened.
Yeah.
Like
it is like a bad B movie.
Yeah, oh my god, people continue.
No, that's just what I was thinking. I was just going to say that it does remind me of a bad B movie.
Yeah.
The way that they look. And you know what I think happened is that they probably got playing around in the green screen, and then, no, that looks too real. Oh, that looks too fake. And, let's make it look like the 80s. And that's kind of what
people were comparing it to the Linkin Park In the End music video.
Oh my gosh. That is so true. Look at that. That is... Wow.
Yeah, I saw someone compare it. I'm like, oh my god, it literally looks like the In the End music video by Linkin Park.
Well,
almost.
if you look at the world that you just described up
It's
above,
the exact same thing.
it's the exact same thing, but just put a red filter over that.
Yeah, like just slightly more. Yeah,
it's just more glowing.
Yeah, and really, it's just. I think the issue is also the lost potential of it all.
Yeah.
Because there is some solid things still in it, and that's the issue, is that there's such solid things there that I'm like, this could have been amazing. I think you had the ingredients, you had the beans, you had the tortilla, and then somehow you like the cheese, and you ruined it.
The thing is, you can't mess up tacos and burritos, but they messed up tacos and burritos.
They burnt
Is that
it.
What you're saying?
Yeah, they threw it in the they threw it in the oven, and it came out burnt. I don't know how.
That's so funny. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Well, what else? So let's round this up. And what do you think?
I will say there's two more things. One,
okay.
I think the kid that they had, Derek, the fat kid, I really liked him as a character. That he's the one that they.
And he came in season 3 or season 4?
This season.
5.
Actually.
He was the last one.
Yeah,
wow.
He was the saving grace. A lot of people are saying he's the saving grace because that actor that they have, he's the funniest little shit ever, and the character is good. And people are like, it saved the season in a lot of ways, or like made it a lot more fun. And that's the kid that he was like, yeah, I had to tell people I was doing a mayonnaise documentary.
Oh, that's right. That's that interview. He was hilarious. I saw that. Yeah. Remember, I sent it to you too.
And overall, I think this was the perfect description that I heard someone mention. I got to pull up the tweet. It's just from of this season of Stranger Things as a whole.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I'll read it off. You can at Uncle Doomer. You can go back and observe that season 1 of Stranger Things had kind of decent, dark, brooding, true detective vibes. Then each subsequent season, it basically morphed into Marvel Avengers universe slop. This kind of slow boiling frog pot bait, and switches everywhere now, which is so true.
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing, and it's only been a couple days, obviously, but it's not. I don't have any horse in this race in this sense because I don't really care. It's not my genre that I usually go, but it's definitely, and it should be, because you think it's like the 80s. I like D&D. I played D&D in the 80s and shit too, but it's just, I don't know, it just never vibed with me. But you and your dad love it and watch it, so yeah, that's what I'm hearing is the same thing.
Yeah, like
same thing.
And
it changed.
And I mean, yeah, overall, I think season 1 to season 5, it's such obviously like change, because season 1 was so good. It was around this. It was so realistic to the time. I think it was so like mysterious. And I heard they were originally going to actually make it an anthology series, kind of like a lot of like the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, where each book was something different. Where season 1 was just this story. It was all themed around like these eldritch things, like the Upside Down.
That's what I was going to say. That would have been really good to do something like that.
Yeah, but each season would have been like a completely different story somewhere else, where something else weird is happening. Yeah,
something other dimension or something like that. They got into. But they kind of weirded out. I think they could have done that, but I think they were taking too long. Can I just say this when we're ending, before your last thing that you want to bring up? If you have to take 3 years to do another season, you've lost half of your people who follow. Even though they're going to watch this, they're
not going to be as invested.
Exactly, and they couldn't care less how it's going to end.
A lot of people.
I'm just saying.
A lot of people forget that things happen. Like, I mean, even a series that I liked with like less weight, like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like Stone Ocean. Its release schedule was so long. By the time the finale of it came out, I love the finale of that, but I was like, oh wait, it released? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and people are like, I mean, everybody watched this one because it was such an I mean, it was everywhere.
They spent like $1 bajillion on marketing too. How can you not?
But I'm just saying that. To me, it just you waited too long. You lost the plot.
Yeah, I mean, if you slowly released episodes, because that's also the issue I think with bulk, is that everyone's on different pages. Like it's just so much content in such a small thing, and then you know what's gonna happen 1 month from now? People probably won't be talking about it.
No, exactly, 100%, and that's exactly because that's what happens when they wait so long. With the episodes. Now, what was your last thing that you were going to say about it?
I think that there's just a lot of squandered potential. I mean, season 1 to season 5, such different themes. People like there's rumors and even a lawsuit going on that the Duffer Brothers stole the idea from one of their college, like their colleagues, and like changed around some stuff, and then like pitched it to a studio, and it was that guy's idea first, which then, which is the reason why everything after is so different. But it was,
and that would kind of make sense because it really is different.
So
it kind of took a weird turn.
Season 1 was very mature in its themes, its ideas. It was mysterious. The Demogorgon was just shown. The Demogorgon is just one creature of whatever this messed up world is, and they do the worst thing that horror does. They over-explained. The best part about horror, and then more people need to. If you make all this Lovecraftian stuff, you don't explain it. You explain
it just is, and then people are scared because that's the mystery.
You explain just enough for people to fill in the gaps of their own mind. Whatever they like, whatever they read, like for example, one of my favorite stories, The King in Yellow, like those stories. It's like whatever they read, they don't say what they read, but you could tell it was so terrifying, so awful that it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It keeps the mystery.
Yeah, and it lets your mind do it on your own. But then you start... Yeah. And you just start explaining stuff. You don't kill characters. There's no stakes. There's nothing really, like, there. And you lose the horror. You lose the horror. You lose the meaning of it. And then you just build on all this stuff. And you tack on, get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then by the time you get to the top, you're like, wow, this is not even close to as interesting as the first season. Yeah. Not enough stakes. And then you look back and you're like, it's like what that guy said. It's like a boiling frog pot bait. With the story, where it's like for anyone that doesn't know, it's like if you put a frog in water and then you slowly raise the temperature, it won't realize that it's boiling until it's already dead.
Instead.
It won't even jump out. And that's what happens with all these shows these days, is that it slowly gets worse and worse and worse. And then you look back at the first season and you're like, this was so good. What happened?
I think it's because it's either one or two things. Maybe they did take it from somebody else and that other person had a really good thought process out of there. Or two, they just get complacent in their wealth and their celebrity that they're like, and they're like, whatever, we don't really have to work that hard. Everybody loves us.
There's also a big history of yes men in Hollywood where
that's what I'm saying. They don't care.
Yeah, there's not people that are like, I walk up
saying, "Hey, that's crap. Yeah, let's not do that."
Yeah, we need more stuff like that because, like the Duffer Brothers being like, "Hey, we have this idea," and then for 5 people to look up in the room and say, "No, that's stupid." Like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, because they don't want to say, "Yeah, you're right. You're right." There is the yes people that aren't ever going to say anything's bad.
Yeah, and it's so cheesy now that the actors, and also, I mean, people make jokes. It took such a long time. These actors that were supposed to be like, these kids are supposed to be 16, and they got like Botox and lip fillers and all this stuff because the actors are now like entering their mid-20s.
Yeah, that's so funny. You said what's her name got lip fillers?
Millie Bobby Brown right before one of the filmings of the things got like, and it was obvious because she could barely move the bottom of her face on some of these scenes. Like, it was.
That's weird. She's so cute anyway. Why would she do that to herself? Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, man, there's so many questionable decisions all around, and I feel so bad for Winona Ryder because, I think if you want a good female-led story. That is perfect, like the middle-aged mom just like going out, and that's what I feel like season 1 was. You had this like a big part of it. She was like the main character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and the thing is that this was a role that I think she fit better than a lot of the ones, because during my day and age, Winona Ryder was really, really popular. And she was this really great actress, and she did a lot of different things, but she was kind of typecasted. But this one I feel like was really a good one for her to express a different kind of genre that she never really did, because she was young. She was this young person in all of the movies in the 80s, or I'm sorry, 90s and 2000s. When she became popular. I just thought it was a very good role for her. And you're right, a middle-aged woman and how a mom really would act.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not standing up for that. I forgot exactly what they said, but it felt like that the whole thing in Stranger Things season 1 was like 3 stories where you had like the kids doing their like own plot. You had a more serious plot for the adults, and then you had this kind of like almost like monster hunting mid-plot with the like mystery vibe with with the teenagers, and that's how they split up the story. And I don't think they should not, I don't think, even have expanded the cast. And
that's what, what, and if they kept on that same 3, that would have been very, very good.
Yeah, yeah, like, because yeah, it was just like they had this story in three parts, and I think it really worked, and then they blew it. I think that they overall blew it. The
They
finale,
get cocky. They
yeah,
get
they
cocky.
get cocky. That's about it. I would say give it a watch if you want, but don't expect anything really good. I feel like Vecna was the most weak sauce villain of all time. He just did not feel like a threat. I mean, you saw that thing I sent you, like a fat
Yeah.
chubby kid basically beat him in his own mind.
Yeah, and
What is this?
Beckham, you said that you're like, it's not even scary.
Yeah, it is not scary. I think there's so many more creatures out there that are scary or foreboding. I know I'm dragging on, but the mind flare design, Jesus Christ, it used to be so much better. It was like it was like this right here. This was the original glimpses of it.
Oh
Where it
wow,
was
that
like
is
it
cool.
was this foggy, like you didn't know quite what it was. It was obscured, and the lighting
How
even
come
of it.
how come they didn't have well, I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think you're right.
And then they changed it into like generic monster spider kaiju, right? Like when the original,
Oh, that doesn't even look the same.
it's supposed to be like it's less spider or whatever, because they wanted to make it seem like this is some big master plan story. They were just doing stuff as it was coming along. They were just like
Yeah,
boom
you
boom
can
boom boom
tell.
boom
You
boom.
can tell. They're just like, yeah, just throw that in there. Yeah, just throw that in there.
Yeah, you're like, and I feel like a lot of these people, even though a lot of these people hate this guy, they gotta read the old HP Lovecraft stories if they're gonna be working with stuff like this,
Yeah,
because
right? Exactly. It's like, yeah, you guys hate him so bad, but he really was a genius.
yeah, and it's the reason why the horror is so good is
Yeah,
because of the
exactly.
unknown, and you define everything, and you make it look it sucks. There's no mystery. There's no
Yeah.
wonder to the world.
Yep, exactly.
But
All
that's
right.
about it.
Anything else in the end that you want to say? This
I
was a long review. You did good though.
Yeah, I mean, because I've been watching this series throughout the years, probably for the past like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When did
Longer than
Stranger
that.
Things season 3 come out? I'm looking. Stranger
Because
Things.
I was afraid of you watching it the first season of Stranger Things. Because I was like, are you too young for this?
Yeah, well, oh yeah, Stranger Things. Yeah, season 3, and I watched it. I think right as season 3 was coming out or going to come out. That
Uh-huh.
was July 4th, 2019. So like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like I've been watching this for basically like my whole teenage years, and
Yeah.
that's why it sucks to see it fail, honestly, because you're like, this is a really good, and I love mystery, I love horror, I love these genres, and you wasted, and now they're going to do like spin-offs and stuff. That's what they're doing. They're doing an animated spin-off now, which I think should have released in between season 4 and 5 as like a
Oh my
wait,
God, that would have been really good.
because the
Yeah.
whole idea is it's a story between season 2 and 3 is the idea,
Uh-huh.
so it should have released, but in
Yeah.
and then they're gonna have one, because there's so many plot points I even missed talking about because just forgot about, because a big part about it was a lot of these plot points were hidden in a play, like a drama theater play, which was in person and only like
Yeah.
a few thousand people ever saw.
Is that the animation they're going to do for the cartoon?
Yeah,
That's awful.
I don't
I
know
don't
why.
like that on. I don't like that animation at all. That's like the little itty kid, little itty bitty
No,
kids.
you're right.
Like brat
I'll,
style.
I'll throw this on screen. I think it's because all these studios try and want to mimic like the Spider-Verse style, but they don't know what makes that
So
special.
bad. Oh my God, that is the cheesiest. If it's 80s, they should not have used those kind of style characters ever. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. They're gonna make a bajillion spin-offs now, of course, as we know, and they're all gonna suck. Or maybe they can get a second chance. Maybe they can make something really good. But as Finn Wolfhard said, the guy who plays Mike, he's like, they asked him who cried most during the season finale, and he responded,
Uh-huh.
our agents, because because it's over.
Because they were done.
Yeah,
and they were all over it. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Yeah, that is.
Because they're like, we're over this.
Well, yeah, our agents cried because they can't milk them for money anymore. that's basically it, and that's the kind of, like, I mean, I feel bad. At least some people, like, like this actor for Steve, Joe Carey, he's got a full music career now. Very like popular
Yeah,
music
I like
career.
him. I actually like his stuff too. He's a cute guy. I mean, good for him. He's like grown into that himself being wealthy too.
Yeah, he's done it. He's doing his own thing. I mean, he worked as a waiter when the series started. So I mean,
I know, that is so awesome.
yeah, but the worst part about it is I wish it wasn't bad. That's what I always think. Is you never.
I think a lot of people think that way too.
People love to hate, but at the end of the day, I didn't want it to be bad. I wanted it to be so good.
I always want good shows to be good. I mean, why bother? If you're going to start a show and everything, you want it to be excellent. Why would you want it to fail?
Even the most woke slop ever, I want it. Yeah, I want it to be like, you know what? Despite these things, I want it to be really good. If you can make something phenomenal, please, by all means, I'm begging you. But the issue is that they don't end up being good, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And we love hating on stuff, but watching this and going into it, I'm like, I want this to blow me out of the water. I want it to be like, I'm sorry, Duffer Brothers, I didn't know your game, but I did know the game, and the game sucked.
Yeah.
And
that cartoon is ugly. It is so ugly. I'm not gonna get over that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get over that.
I'll watch it. Just to see,
of course you will.
See how it is. I'll maybe in another episode I'll quickly go over it. Like as a little like side thing, but yeah, that's it. I say what I would recommend you guys do. Watch Stranger. If you haven't watched Stranger Things at all, watch Stranger Things season 1 and just be like, that was a full story. It was done. It ended right there.
A lot of people feel that way, and that's how I am going to be, because I think I've watched 3 episodes of Stranger Things.
Honestly, I think you should watch. I think you should fully and finish watching Stranger Things season 1, because it is a brilliant piece of television, and one of the best probably horror things I've seen, which is why it captivated so many people.
Yeah, in so many generations.
And so many,
it was
literally,
really
multiple, you got to think, millennials loved it, because, the 90s, a lot of Gen X loved it. Gen Z then were kind of, grew up, started teenagers kind of like me, and then watched it. And then even Gen Alpha are now watching, the newer seasons. This is, multi-generational stuff. Biggest Netflix series ever. I mean, Netflix is ending all of their big stuff right now, which I think they need to have that HBO, deal, Warner Brothers deal, or otherwise they are screwed. Because... at the end of the you gotta think Squid Game ended. Yeah. Despite what people think is, because some people thought that Squid Game ending wasn't good. I thought it was good, but even if you didn't, the Squid Game guys acted their asses off. The Squid Game actors, those Korean people, were so phenomenal that I think no matter what script you gave them, it would have been brilliant. Yeah. This one had a bad script and bad acting for a lot of the characters, except for Dustin, Steve, and Winona Ryder. Those are still goated character, goated people. Yeah. And
you just like Winona Ryder because she reminds you of me.
Well, because she's a strong female character who is engaging, has a very engaging plot, and I mean, you're yeah, go get him, and she's just such a good character, I think.
Yeah.
And and they're
ending you crap and telling you how much I understand that, because when you said that she reminded you of me, and how you were like, she's one of the better characters, oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, because I mean, I feel like how you would act in a lot of these things. You don't take shit. I feel like if I was kidnapped by some evil things and you thought that I was still out there, you'd be doing the same stuff.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's a good character that shows the bond of a mother and son, and she's a single mother too, right?
Yeah,
that's a big part of it. But Netflix has really just screwed so many of these stories. I think they ended the Umbrella Academy sucked. Arcane ended recently. I thought Arcane was good. I thought Squid Game was good. Yeah, but they're ending all their series, which their big stuff. So it's what's gonna happen next? Wednesday, that's all they got is Adam's Wednesday, Adam Family.
That's
and I don't know what's gonna happen with Netflix next, but might not be that great, especially because they want to buy childs, or
they want to buy, what are they trying to buy?
HBO, Warner Bros, the entirety of Warner Bros.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but that's my personal opinion. I think it's going to stop. But anyway,
it does risk her. That's about it, though.
All right. What a good way to start off the new year.
Yeah, what a good way to start off the new year with some good old slop. Piggies love their slop.
You still liked it. It just could have been way better.
Yeah, it was it was campy, not in the way that like One Piece live action is. It's like it campy in the "Are you kidding me" kind of way.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's it. Watch season 1 of Stranger Things. Think to yourself,
Yep.
man, I wish there was more to this. I can't believe they never made a season 2. And then just gaslight yourself into believing that, and then live the rest of your life and enjoy.
Yep, that's how you do it. All right.
We'll see you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.